Okay, dear friends, fellow Singaporeans, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody in the audience for coming down. By your very presence today, I'm glad that you have taken the first step to becoming active citizens. Your presence shows that you care. And you are taking the first few steps to own your future. Tomorrow starts today, which is our theme. Okay, the last elections have shown that Singaporeans are awakening to political awareness, especially among the younger voters, the Generation Y, so-called. We have seen unprecedented levels of discussions and debate among our young Singaporeans, especially on the new media. There is hunger for information, transparency. No longer contented with letting a few individuals deciding their future. More and more of you now want to participate and be engaged in the running of the country. I would like to recall an incident which I had during the elections, GE 2011 in May. Actually, there were many instances, but one that caught my attention, and I still remember, was the night before the eve of polling day. As you know, the eve of polling day, we were not allowed to. So we couldn't. We couldn't do more of the campaigning. But the night before, there was a message sent out to everyone that we needed volunteers. And I remember vividly, we were in the midst of campaigning and we were going all over Choa Chu Kang constituency and going up and down, back and forth and preparing but when I came to our party headquarters, which is in Jalan Besar, it's a small office with a staircase on the second level and the staircase leading down, and I was amazed and astounded to see so many people snaking. That there was a queue from the ground floor up the staircase into the NSP office, and all of them were waiting there to register their names because we wanted volunteers for polling agents, counting agents, and so on and so forth. And that was something that I still remember today, and it augurs well, in my opinion, for the future of Singapore. I do not believe that Singaporeans are not interested in politics, and especially the younger people. I really believe that there's a lot of young minds out there, individuals out there who want to participate. Okay, so this is something that I noticed during the elections. So now we have all this desire, this hunger for information and debate going on the various media platforms, DOC and all the other chat sites and all that. But I think now the next step is to go beyond just talking, chatting. Being the armchair person sitting there and just typing away on a keyboard. The next thing is channeling all this energy, into real action. So this is why we are here today. We want to engage these individuals to come forward and join us in our platform, where you have an opportunity to not just talk, not just become a talk shop, but a place of action where we can do meaningful activities to bring together people and push for the change or change in a legislation or whatever it is, we can do it here. We the citizens would have failed our nation and future generations in not building alternative voices, and in turn the capacity of political parties capable of running this country. There are many intelligent, capable, passionate and well-qualified people in Singapore. I therefore ask you, now come forward and join us. At this point, I also like to quote my SecGen when she sent out the invitation letters. And she said, in this new era, we are no longer a passive people with no power to decide the direction of our country. In this new era, we are responsible for the policies that are made in our name. So I think this is a really strong message that goes out to everyone. And those of you who are looking at this, if you really believe in this statement, I think you should come forward and contribute. Okay, so now I should go on to talk about the Indian Bureau. Basically, the Indian Bureau was only started coming up in our minds from the last elections. Similar to what the Malay Bureau had, the experience that they had from 2006, where there was this notion by officially that there was no Malay issues. And then when you hit the ground, you start listening to all sections of the voters, and specifically you start hearing a certain community, the minorities, coming up and telling you some of the issues that they face, be it in employment, be it in housing, be it in opportunities that they feel that they are missing out due to perhaps a policy, for example. So these similar instances happened during when I stood for elections in May 2011, when we did a campaigning prior to that, not just during pre-election period, but about a year before that, well, in a year before May 2011, we were already hitting the ground, knocking on doors, talking to people, and we met a lot of residents, especially minorities and Indians that I met personally, who shared with me their concerns. So that is when Sebastian and I, we were talking about this, and we decided we should come up with a bureau to pay some attention to some of the issues concerning the minorities. Okay, so that's how Indian Bureau started, and this is the purpose. Firstly, engage and promote active citizenry among Indian Singaporeans. So what does this mean? As I mentioned before, NSP believes in a democracy where the role of the private citizen is of utmost importance. We want to convert bystanders who have had decisions made for them all their lives to become stakeholders and who play active roles in the decision-making process, however small it may be, but you are engaged. So this is the core role, purpose of the Indian Bureau. Secondly, provide alternative platform to voice the hopes and aspirations of Indian Singaporeans. We want issues that are of concern to Indians to be discussed. Real issues that affect ordinary Indian Singaporeans in an open fashion. We do not want to be another organization that espouses the official view on the many serious issues confronting them. We want to be an alternative platform where there is no such thing as an official view. We want to be a place where disenfranchised Singaporeans are welcome to air their views. Nothing to sweep under the carpet. Be it the HDB's ethnic integration policy of ethnic quotas for public housing, a policy that has been blamed, among others, limiting the number of buyers for minorities. I will not elaborate too much on it today, but you know where I'm going at. Okay, and these are real issues that you don't normally hear with other so-called groups that represent Indian Singaporeans. As Singapore becomes increasingly racially ambiguous and cosmopolitan, is our classification of race and ethnic quota for housing slowly but surely becoming a farce? And given Singaporeans' general mobility in this geographically small island, are we really in danger of forming racial enclaves, lacking in understanding and friendship with other races whom we interact with on a daily basis, be it in school or work or anywhere else? So I say to those of you who believe in this, Indians out there, come join us. Let's talk about the real issues. Let's work towards lobbying the authorities to be proactive and review this outdated policy. Do we still need it? At least let's have a discussion, let's put forward proposals, and let's push for some change. Another hot button issue that was quite hot some time ago among the Indians here in Singapore. Yeah, you got it spot on. Yeah, the recent uproar on the banning of drugs at Thaipusam. Okay. Do you feel that the strict enforcement of law on Thaipusam is totally unwarranted? Singaporeans have evolved as one people in spite of the diversities in race and cultural heritage. We have enhanced our understanding and tolerance to various cultural and religious celebrations, as well as practices in almost all aspects of our lives. For almost 4 decades, Singaporeans have no problems in living with all sorts of noisy, religious, cultural celebrations. Do you think rules on festive noise making should be determined by weighing upon interracial tolerance, strengthen civil society, and through open consultation, instead of a heavy-handed ban? No drugs. Just like that. So again, I say to you, if you feel strongly about this, you might disagree with me, like this gentleman just said. No problems. There is no official view, as I said before. You can come in and present your views, but be prepared for everybody else's views to be heard, and let's discuss and come to a common understanding. And as I said, it's not just going to be a talk shop. We are going to push, of course, through proper channels and lobby, if need be, to review this so-called legislation, laws, what have you. There are many more other issues that can be discussed, but not today. But just to give you a bit some of the things that we look at, like one, for example, in keeping with first world countries, should we introduce anti-discriminatory legislation so that discriminatory job advertisements are a thing of the past? We can even go on to beyond racial discrimination, gender discrimination, so on and so forth. But you know, these are the things that we can discuss on. And besides policies, anything else that affect the Indian community or issues faced by the Indian community, we can also get together and discuss about this and come up with some suggestions and proposals for action. And the third thing that Indian Bureau, the purpose is to conduct outreach programs, events to benefit the Indian community. This will be to get active involvement and conduct social events, feedback sessions, forums to engage Indians and get them to participate in this process. So I have a basic work plan here for 2012. So I hope I can get some participation from the audience as well as those of you who will be probably watching this later or might be reading about it. Come forward. And these are the things that we have planned. Launch of NSP Indian Bureau. We have planned it for April 2012 on the day of the Indian New Year. A recruitment event in June and a forum and feedback event in August. So these are the plans. Hope to hear from those of you out there who's interested. Come forward and join us. Okay, so in conclusion, I would like to urge Singaporeans in general, as well as Indian Singaporeans, to become world citizens who are highly engaged and actively contributing to the betterment of society. Singapore as a country must aspire to be like Japan, for example, Taiwan, South Korea, highly democratic, first world developed economies driven by creativity, innovation, and a competition of ideas in a climate of personal freedom. Own your future. Tomorrow starts today. Thank you.